All right, so without further ado, what have we got, Harrington?
Now it's the real fighter of the year. Now the real.
Yeah, we need some music in post. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you to the most prestigious award, which coincidentally brings this evening to an end. Without further ado, I would like to welcome to the stage the one and only Mr. Mike Harrington to make the nominations.
Why, thank you, Mr. Bisping. I present to you the fighters of the year. Kamaru Usman, Henry Cejudo, the only man to win 2 belts, Israel Adesanya, and of course, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
Oh, these are jolly good suggestions, and I love the way you delivered them. It was clear, concise, to the point, no fill, just not necessary, just fantastic fighters, fighters to aspire to, perhaps. That's a tough one. All good fighters, all had great years. Lewis, you've said nothing for a bit. Take the floor.
If I had to pick my favorite fighter, I thought we were doing any accent we want, right? I would like to pick, I don't even know what accent I'm doing. This is like half Indian, half
I was going to say, it sounds like the guy that's serving you drinks in fucking Jamaica. Okay? Listen, we're doing prestigious award ceremony voices, Lewis.
Oh, for who is my favorite fighter? My favorite fighter this year is...
We didn't say offensive Chinese voices. What are you doing? Stop it.
You've made that point before. Why is it not offensive for Harrington to do British? But
Israel Adesanya, Henry Cejudo, Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal.
I got to discount Jorge because I think if you don't have a title, I'm not counting the fucking BMF title. I think it's going to be hard to be the fighter of the year without having either won a title or defending a title multiple times.
Disagree. So who you got? And give us your reasoning for it. Go ahead. Jesus. Final award, prestigious. Have it in your back pocket. I mean, out of all the awards that you had to anticipate being on this list, this would have to be one of them. So maybe you gave this one a bit of pre-thought. And this is the one you can't decide on. I mean, the ones with like the best looking male of the year, fucking hell, you got a lot to say on that one, haven't you? Just give us your fucking vote, your reason, and why.
I'm going to say Kamaru Usman.
Why?
It's based off of process of elimination. Okay. I'm discounting Cejudo because the level of competition down at the lower weight classes, in my opinion, isn't as tough. He didn't have to go through as many tough fighters as Kamaru.
Yeah, you're right. Although that logic is flawed because TJ Dillashaw came down a weight class. A champion of the weight class above came down to challenge him, and he smoked him, I think, in 34 seconds. So I mean, you're just throwing that out there. But continue as you want. Yeah, this year, January, in Brooklyn. In fact, you were there. I got you tickets. Okay, but continue.
Fuck. Either way, still doesn't matter. It's fine. That's okay. I still think that, all right, you can't give it to Masvidal because he didn't actually win a real title, even though he's a bad motherfucker, and in my opinion, had an incredible year, one of the best years you could possibly have in MMA. And then Israel, once again, I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times. It's a little bit, George never lost that title. In fact, you never really lost it. We've discussed this. You were 10% of yourself. George was 110% of himself. George lost that round or lost that fight in most people's eyes. So it's sort of like, I feel like that title, I just don't, it's not as big of a deal to me. So I'm going with Kamaru Usman.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Kamaru Usman, good for you. And you're right, Kamaru Usman had a fantastic year. He won the belt. It was a completely one-sided affair against Tyron Woodley, and then he backed it up with a huge fight, a very exhilarating, take-your-breath-away performance, a back-and-forth fight with Colby Covington. But for me, my winner of the year, the fighter of the year, is a guy that has been around forever, a guy that has paid his dues in the backyards, in the big arenas. This guy's been there for years, plodding away, but not getting the recognition that he deserves. But then all of a sudden dissipates into the jungle, resets his mind, comes out, becomes a different person, flies over to London, England to take on a huge fighter that this man was a massive underdog against, okay? Masvidal went out to England against Darren Till, big underdog. What does he do? electrifying knockout in the first round. Okay, I thought Till was going to take him out real fast. He dropped him, but he gets back up. He gets back up after being dropped, and boom, it's him that gets the knockout. Then International Fight Week, undefeated Ben Askren, okay, the highly touted champion from Bellator and ONE FC, finally comes over to the UFC, gets his first win, and takes on Masvidal. It looked like a classic striker versus grappler match in which the grapplers always win. And what does he do? He follows it up with yet another sensational performance, okay? 5-second knockout, fastest knockout in the history of the UFC, right? Knocks him out. Then follows it up, creates his own title with Nate Diaz, the fan favorite. Everybody thinks he's the real baddest motherfucker alive. Fights him in Madison Square Garden, okay? Goes out there, puts a beating on him, finishes him in a one-sided affair, and has The Rock put a fucking make-believe belt around his waist, okay? Dude, nobody had a better year than Jorge Masvidal. Adesanya had a good year. Kamaru Usman had a good year. But people were not talking about this guy last year. And look at, number one, he fought more than anybody else. And secondly, I can't even think now. Secondly, his fights were more electrifying. And he finished all three. It doesn't matter whether or not he was the champion. It wasn't who was the best champion this year or who became the champion of year award thingy bob. No, who's the best fighter of the year? It's Jorge Masvidal, okay? Without further ado.
All right, you know what? You fucking swayed me, doggy. You fucking swayed me. What am I supposed to say? And to be honest with you, if he goes out and beats Kamaru Usman, then my pick looks stupid as it is, and I think he actually might win that fight when they fight. So I agree with you, and that's I don't know about
that. It's a very, 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 very tough fight, but we will see that next year, hopefully in the summer. I look forward to that.